Sufi poetry is such an amazing form of poetry because the lyrics that are found in the poems aren't just superficial or don't just carry a outer exterior motive or meaning. Rather, the poems that are written are often written as a sense of medicine for the souls and are written with the intention of helping people and giving them somewhat of a blueprint of something a lot greater than themselves. So one of the great Sufi poets from the past, his name was Bulleh Shah. Now, you may have heard about him or you may not have. He's one of the top tier poets in the Indian subcontinent that wrote poetry for the masses in Punjabi. And his poetry is so awe-inspiring and such wisdom and divine lessons are found in his poetry that I'm actually going to sing some of it and we'll go through line by line what he says and how we can relate to it, or what I take from it and maybe what you can take from it. So he says, Je Rab milda hona tea to tea ta milda dadua machiyan ਜੇ ਰੱਬ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜੰਗਲ ਵੇਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਚਾਮ ਚਰਕੀਆ. He says that if God was to be found in the rivers and the seas, he'd be found by the frogs and the fish. And if God was to be found in the jungles and the forests, he would be found by the cows and the animals. ਤੇ ਜੇ ਰੱਬ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਸੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਚਾਮ ਚਰਕੀਆ. ਬੁੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਰੱਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਨੀਤਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸੱਚੀਆਂ. Wow. He says that, and if God was to be found in the mosques and the temples, then he'd be found by the crickets and the bats. You know, the small little animals that you have, them insects rather, that you have. He'd be found by the crickets and the bats. But he says, oh Bulleh Shah, God is actually found by those who possess a pure heart and who have true pure intentions. Wow. And then he carries on and he says in another poem, Par par ilm hazar kitaban kadi apne aap na parya ਜਾ ਜਾ ਵਰਦੇ ਮੰਦਰ ਮਸਜਿਦ ਕਦੇ ਮਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਚ ਨਾ ਵਰਿਆ. He goes that you have recited and studied so many books, right? He's talking like often most of the poetry that he or other Sufis write, they can be seen as somewhat of a like provocation to the outward scholars or those who have studied religion or so on and so forth. Nevertheless, we can find great wisdom in such poems. He says that you've studied so many books. All you do is just sit there and study your books. You've studied so many books. However, despite this, you've never actually studied yourself. He goes, you continuously go to the mosques and the temples, but you've never visited yourself. Now, what does that actually mean? He goes that kade man apne ch nahi varya, ja ja varda mandar masita, kade man apne ch nahi varya. That you've gone and visited the mosques and the temples, you frequent them so much, but have you frequented yourself? Have you actually delved deep inside yourself? Did you know that there's a complete different world inside of you? That's why the Sufis talk about meditation. That's why they talk about internal remembrance of God. And that's why they remind us to contemplate and to dig deeper in the truths of ourselves. He goes out, Ki jana main kaun. He goes, Ki jana main kaun, Bulleh ki jana main kaun. Bulleh Shah says that, who am I? Like, I don't even know who I am. I wonder who I am. He says, Na main Musa na Fir'aun, na main paka vich palita, na main vich kufar diya rita. I don't know who I am. I'm trying to figure out who I am. So there's so many poems that can be recited and that can be studied and learnt about Bulleh Shah, and there's so many other poets out there, including Sarmad, who was a poet from the Mughal Empire, Sachal Sarmast, Shah Abdul Latif Bhai, and Mia Muhammad Baksh, and there's so many other great Sufi poets that hopefully I will start to recite a few more, start to sing more and translate them more on this channel. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a very quick one, and I'll see you on the next one if you did. Take care. Peace out.